The name of my company is PrintBliss. I started out in a sneaker store at 16 years old, and that's where I really found a passion for clothing and streetwear. And through that, I ended up starting a clothing line with some friends, and then ended up shortly after acquiring the printing company that was printing for us. I was 18 at the time. I had saved up to buy a Camaro, and I bought a heat press and this big digital printing equipment that nobody knew about. And I started doing it full time. Fast forward 13 years later, here I am. I've been doing it every day since. I've put over 32,000 hours in to an industry that's only 42,000 hours old. We just so happened to start in digital printing when nobody was doing it. And right now, digital printing is essentially the future, and it's something that we just so happen to kind of be in front of. So we're very thankful for that. In doing something for 13 years, the natural progression of what we created was kind of getting boring. We really had dialed in our niche to where we focused in digital printing, and we had a lot of inbound leads. Like people find us because they need something quick, they need something fast. But that got boring. So we ended up innovating and creating PrintBliss over the past 3 years, which is essentially our way of innovating the way that people do printing, or the enterprise companies do printing. So we are really printing wearable narratives that inspire belonging. Fast forward to what I'm here for, or why I'm here. My mother is a local activist and leader. Her name is Rose Hamid. She's a flight attendant, been a flight attendant since '85. 10 years into her journey as a flight attendant, she got into a bad car accident and ended up getting a deeper relationship with her faith. She was Muslim before, but when she went back to work, she was wearing a headscarf. US Airways at the time essentially told her that she couldn't fly because it wasn't a part of the uniform standard. So she took them to court. She forced them to change the rules, and to this day, she's the reason that people with locks can wear their hair on the airlines, and she's the reason that Jewish people can wear their religious headscarf. She did change the standard because of what she believed in. So, we really believe that we are giving people a voice through apparel. She doesn't really stop. She continuously kicks up dust and stands and doesn't sit down when there's an opportunity to make an impact and say something. I've, again, spent 13 years helping stories come alive. I've done numerous workshops, helped, thousands of people, tell their story on garments, and it's something that I really, truly do have a passion for. We really do believe that every garment still tells a story that matters. We worked with the collaboration of, artists in Charlotte. We raised almost $100,000 for charity during the BLM movement, and, this was all off of a digital mock-up. We posted an image, we just were able to hit it right, and we donated it to 5 charities in Charlotte. Over the past 13 years, we've helped over 12,000 individuals, 2,000 businesses. In our PrintBliss model, we've gone through 83 members. Of our annual members, meaning people that signed up for our annual subscription, we have 100% retention. We have not, over the 3 years that we've done this, lost an annual member that has signed up for our program. So we've printed in total about 800,000 garments. To this date, we've generated over $6 million in revenue, and we've generated roughly 3.9 billion impressions for clients. It's a very modest number. We've worked with tons of companies. A lot of them we can't necessarily say, super long contracts. But really, you don't have to take our word for it. The reason we got a bunch of inbound leads as a commodity was because we had really great service and ranked really high on Google naturally. So we have over 250 5-star Google reviews, and people love working with us. So what we wear is more than fabric. It really is the identity and a sense of belonging. The problem that we noticed after doing this for 10 years was that it's really challenging for enterprise companies to consistently create wearables that align with brand guidelines, stay within budget, are on trend, tell a meaningful story, and ensure efficient production. This really often leads to time-constrained generic options or unreliable vendors. So enterprise clients typically have one big marketing print person, and then if they have more nimble projects, they have to source locally. So there's a gap because you can imagine that the local vendors get pressured with time, and the big vendors don't have the time to be creative and nimble. So there's a gap between there of somebody that's paying attention to the moments and not just waiting for you to hit them up for an order. So we really do, again, create narratives, wearable narratives that people remember forever. So how do we solve that? We created a seamless, high-touch experience that saves time and effort and relieves stress for executives. We help their departments and teams meet broader business goals, and we handle all of the design and print work in-house. So we ensure brand alignment, we turn ordinary apparel into inspiring narratives, and we use innovative print processes that create lasting engagements. And people really do remember these forever. So we really do, again, align your message with real meaning. And we use advanced systems, collaboration, and quality to drive us. This was like 2 weeks ago. I kidnapped my developer, I kidnapped my coach, and we got in front of a whiteboard and we redesigned the newest iteration of our design software. So our revenue streams comprise of the Print Pass, which is a B2B model, and then the other portion of it, 40% is B2C projects. So we have two distinct channels that we address. Our B2C network, or our B2C customer, is somebody that finds us naturally. So we get these inbound leads because we rank really high, and we do a type of printing that no other printing companies want to deal with. We have no minimum order, we have a 24 to 48 hour turnaround time, there's no artwork requirements, and there's unlimited print colors. So it's literally all of the headaches that other printers typically deal with. My biggest referral source is other printers. We work well with other bulk printers because you can't call them up and say, hey, I have 6 shirts, I forgot I'm doing this pitch today. You know what I mean? I didn't print my own uniform shirt. Like, they're not going to deal with it. They send them to me. The B2B model offers weekly brand strategy, same day or next day turnaround, a dedicated account manager, seasonal collection design, a dropship platform, the use of our proprietary print credit model, and our B2C model, again, is rapid turnaround time, no color limits, minimum order size. So again, we aren't just printing shirts. We really want to create apparel that people are asking for. You know, we want to drive engagement, whether it be for a public use or for internal use. In terms of our team, we really have built it from the ground up. It's built, not bought. I spent 3 years developing what we call T-shirt University because I knew that if we wanted to take this company to scale, my biggest problem was going to be getting talent. Every entrepreneur says it's hard to find good people. Well, I actually realized that good people don't exist. Good companies that make good people exist. I'm a good entrepreneur because Chick-fil-A was really good at training me. I'm serious. I know how to sweep a floor because of it too. And I know how to scrub down a freaking chicken greased kitchen. And it's really satisfying to squeegee it, actually. But, you know, so, yeah, we took that on. You know, we learned from the best. We learned from Hamburger University. I spent hours and hours. You know, our staff can spend their first 24 hours of training when they get hired, strictly just doing this. There's quizzes and stuff like that. So again, we're building deeper bonds, and we're bringing harmony to every part of the creation process. You know, to continue delivering on this vision, we're asking for $5 million in funding. We plan on expanding our production capacity, going from 5,000 shirts a month to 10,000 shirts a month in the next 18 months. We're investing in new technology and automation to make our proprietary processes faster and more efficient. We're growing our team with strategists, designers, logistic experts, and we're really trying to maintain, or we really are maintaining that high-touch, high-quality approach. We're deploying a national franchise expansion plan, which is consisting of acquisitions of regional footholds to make sure that we have more national coverage and can get to all of our clients within a 1 to 2 day turnaround time. So honestly, we're here to create moments that last forever, one print at a time. Thank you.
Samira, great job. You jammed a lot of information in the 6 minutes. Holy cow! I probably captured a third of it, maybe.
It was 8 minutes.
8 minutes. That was close enough. I didn't even see the stop signal. But anyhow, all right. Love the background story around how you got started. The printing of the T-shirt or apparel printing business is definitely one where it's I deal with it. I play softball. I play play 5 different softball games a week. And so I see a lot of interesting printing on shirts and so forth. And yeah, the turnaround on those things are just absolutely horrible. So one of the things that I want to get into is a little bit about that, because I think it's the speed and the quick turnaround on messaging is sort of your secret sauce. And if this was an investor-focused pitch, you probably want to highlight that more earlier and more. But before I get there, congrats on the $6 million revenue. I think that's awesome. The fact that you printed 800,000 garments is impressive. For an investor pitch, you're gonna need to give a timeline. I know it's hard to do and squeeze all this in, but again, same thing. What do investors really care about when they're looking? I'm actually going to go back to what I said earlier, because it's team. Like in real estate, it's location, location, location. In venture investing, it's team, team, team. The only thing investors are really investing in, it's not your concept, it's not your product, it's not anything, it's the team. Right? And so we heard a lot about you. We heard a lot about your university, but we didn't really hear a lot about other players. We need to hear about other players. I like what you did around problem and solution. And again, I would simplify that messaging, because investors aren't really that smart. Present company accepted. But that you need to really have a simple message around what's differentiating you from the rest of the printing business. And you got to that a little bit, and I loved it. I would really emphasize that story about other printers are coming to me with small batches because they can't do it. That's an interesting niche that might have some growth potential. And then when you got to the $5 million, I know you were running out of time at that point. Now that Larry told me, what are you looking to do with the $5 million? The uses of funds. You spend a little bit of more time on that. And again, what does that get you in terms of driving revenue? And I also would, the investment you made in the digital printing platform. I think an investor would be interested in seeing, maybe understanding how that differentiates you, and why is you're using that technology getting you ahead as relative to potentially bigger competitors who obviously have capital to invest in those kind of things. But phenomenal job.
Samir, so I actually have some experience in this industry, because I'm not sure if you've heard of a company called FM Expressions, but they do the B2B printing at scale. And it's a company that's owned by Falfurrias Capital here. So I've worked with that company for 6 to 8 years. So I know more about the industry than I ever thought I would. First and foremost, I want to clarify, are you just doing digital printing, or are you doing screen printing or heat transfers?
So for our members, we make anything possible that's wearable. There are, in terms of what we can promise on the turnaround times and the quickness and what we really stand on, the thing about screen printing is that we can't accurately give turnaround times, just because it's not that type of game. So with digital printing, there's rules, and then with other types of printing, absolutely. Yeah.
So with heat transfers look pretty good. They're pretty close to digital. Quick turnaround.
You're talking about direct-to-film?
Yeah, low barrier to entry. You can buy a heat press for $169. And so what I found in the industry is that there's a low barrier to entry, because any hobbyist can jump in and start printing t-shirts pretty easily. And so what we saw were a lot of entrants into the market that had early success and then began to scale the business. And that's going to be the biggest challenge, is scaling the business. So I'd like to hear from you, how do you address that challenge? Is digital printing your primary mode of printing?
Yeah, so direct-to-garment printing is the subset of where direct-to-film comes in. I was the first person in Charlotte, in North Carolina, to offer direct-to-film commercially, because I found out about it when the guy who introduced it to being able to be done on my machines, the YouTube video only had 100-something views. It was a guy in China. He had just figured out a new technique. I literally implemented it on my price list within 24 hours because I was like in the mode of like, my margins suck. This really does, make the margins make them better. The thing is that we had kind of already cut our market before the market could cut us, because as we were focusing on this membership model, we had to do something drastic because we were getting a lot of inbound leads, and these are the biggest headache clients that you can imagine. Rush, no artwork, just 2. You know what I mean? So I couldn't raise my price fast enough. So in 2023, we doubled our pricing, and we lost about half of our business. So it was perfect. We were able to focus more of our time onto, our members, and we differentiate between the different print processes, but only from situations. See, polyester, you have to use direct to film, because direct to garment, the essence of it, the curing, the permanence of it is in the absorption of the cotton. So polyester is at its core plastic, woven together like a cotton. So it doesn't actually have any absorption to it. So you can stain it, but you cannot cure any ink to it. So that's where direct-to-film comes in. So it is an innovation that's great, and the beauty about more people entering in is that we just look better and better and better, because as the tide rises, we continue to stand out. People look at us for that. So it's something that we've taken on and implemented it first and foremost. We still haven't justified the need for a separate printer. So we can do direct-to-film on our direct-to-garment machine. And since we're using direct-to-garment inks, it's better quality than somebody that's using direct-to-film, because the whole reason that somebody went direct-to-film is to cut cost. So they hacked together table printers, put cheap garment inks into them, and sold it as premium. So
yeah. I think you're hitting on a key
point there. It's kind of for the heat transfer. It's kind of a race to the bottom on pricing.
Exactly. We chose to be at the top, because that's the only other competitive. It's either you're competitive at 0 or you're competitive at the most expensive. So we intentionally are the most expensive in the market when it comes to direct-to-garment printing. When people hit me up, they say, Samir, I need some shirts. Which arm, which leg? I'm like,
So just a couple things on your pitch.
Real quick. So first of all, you come across as very genuine and trustworthy. You know this business, obviously. So that passion comes through even in your 1-minute introduction before we started the clock. So keep that. That's very positive. Your cumulative revenue, I'd love to know what your annual revenue is and what your annual growth has been since you started. So $6 million cumulative revenue is great, but is the business growing? And are you doing $1 million a year, or are you doing $250,000 and been at it for 20 years? I just don't know that.
The last one. So, so yeah, in 2022 we did about $470,000 in revenue. For like 5 years I couldn't crack a $500,000. It was like I just couldn't get that $500,000 hump. But then in 2023 that's when we doubled our prices. That was the first year that our member revenue was more than our retail revenue, than our B2C revenue. So our margins in 2022, we were at a loss. In 2023, our revenue went down 47%, and our margins went up 119% net margin. So it was like we can make more money by making less money. But we made some drastic changes there too. By doubling our prices, half the work. I changed all my full-time staff to full speed staff. So we only do 25-hour work weeks, and you go full speed, and we cut our hours. Everybody got paid a little bit less. You get what I'm saying? Or actually, everybody got paid more per hour. I raised wages 25%, cut hours 50%, and we just, really believe in working and living life for people. We get off at 1:30, So there's a lot of room to grow. And
I'm going to put that one in my hip pocket rather than full-time.
Full speed employees. Everybody remember that one. Thank you. Good luck as you continue.